Cohilig, an gétal is minlam mo buicas, a gasolig asat an firkin folcha dara shiv galir rom hindistra ma van kele savin is itsan na tau tash the lum. Agus ta asar am vencha tumwid is okod kilurake, so an tres lim lev as an gradan a vuishiv. Agus da no I bhí an feidje ag teistal tuisc gur bhuaisibh cúpla bhliana hin agus tuisc gur an epidemic siúil ar a sean san a cilúre I gart. May I just say how pleased I am to be here. I just first of all want to say I want to Chairman, thank you for your welcome. I want to say all of those distinguished guests who are gathered. I think that Minister and Soshin taken, and I've been meeting some members of the Monaghan County Council, and it's just a great pleasure to see you all again, and very particularly members of the Oireachtas, members of the local authority and the county council, and so many others. And thank you, as I have just said in Irish, for the invitation to Sabina and I to be with you for what is a celebratory occasion. May I at the very beginning thank the school children and those who are helping them for their wonderful rendition of their song, which is a song in praise of where you live. And I think that is something that is very important. And I must say as well, listening to it, it wasn't a bit forced. So it is clear that people in fact enjoy it. And why not, as one looks around and sees what a wonderful place Glaslough is. I mean, it's sheer beautiful architecture, but also as well as that, maybe it's a Monaghan thing, and things look more than just a bit tidy. There's a Eric special. My contact with Monaghan in the more recent times has been, in fact, in relation to football and my connection with Galway United, but that's now in the past. Well, not really. Actually, we're doing very well at the moment. Now, I would just say that it was one of the great disappointments during the pandemic. There were events we had to cancel. We kept as many, I think I did hundreds of them electronically, but one thing that we did miss is that since I became president in 2011, Sabina and I have very much enjoyed meeting communities. And I want to say to all of you here that have turned out, fair play to you for all turning out and celebrating what is a very, very important occasion. And I want to say something about SuperValu. Isn't it to their great credit that for more than 30 years they have been the sponsor of the Tidy Towns competition? And it might have begun by, in fact, I think all those years ago in the 1990s, because people were attaching, I think, an importance to tourism and to having places looking well when people visited. But it is the great strength of SuperValu, and if you look at their message that they have even for this year the celebration we're due now a couple of years late, it is that they see that there's so much more than that involved in it. It's connected with environmental responsibility, it's connected with sustainability, and it's connected with so many, many, many other important issues. And as president, I have to say at this stage in 2024, that when we are internationally facing incredible difficulties, as some people are retreating from those two great projects of humanity, sustainability and responding to climate change, that what's going to save it all are all of the actions on the ground. And there are so many good things when I was looking at the report from here. For example, I want to pay tribute to you for your recycling initiatives, for the water harvesting initiatives that you have, the other issues of taking, for example, older materials and recycling them and giving them new meanings. And one of the things that's so obvious even in the people standing in front of me is that it has been one of the great achievements of the Tidy Towns movement as well, the way that it has encouraged intergenerational solidarity. Is that people in their different levels of capacity, in different ages and different generations, have a contribution to make. I have to say, Tidy Towns was established in 1958, and your previous plaque, which I look at, which was installed by my predecessor, Paddy Hillary. Paddy Hillary was we're on the edge of European elections. In my view, I knew Paddy Hillary. He was one of the most innovative, inspiring, and particularly in the area of rights for workers and that, when he was commissioner in the European Union. And his contribution was a very, very significant one. He and Maeve were very fast-seeing people. And so that's 1978. So you've had to wait quite a bit for the next plaque and so forth. And then in turn COVID came and you had to wait even further. And that is why I complimented you on being, as I said, faideach or patient. Glaslough itself is a beautiful name. In Irish it is Green Lake. And I think that located as you are and situated on the edge of the Glaslough estate, I know that you have won so many other awards. You, I think, most recently won on Floreal, that you have won awards, I think, internationally. But it's very, very important, the great thing about what we're celebrating today is that it's a celebration of community cooperation. I think it's something as well that, as over the years I've been present for the awards when people are celebrating and unveiling plaques, there's always somebody or a small few people who get things going in the beginning. And they often have to endure for a while, and then the next thing it takes off. And then I think what is wonderful is that when one group is able to hand over to another group. So let me immediately pay tribute not only to the committee, the chairperson, the coordinator, and all of the present committee, but to anyone who has been active over the years for the contribution that they have made. I do think as well there is something else about it, is that there's a huge difference when people have a sense of place. I think that one of the things that you will notice, I notice in right across the world, is what happens when people begin putting up locked gates and keeping people out, as it were, rather than when people in fact are able to move freely around the spaces that they share. And Tidy Towns has had that. I think sometimes in Ireland, when I look at it, one of the great parts of our own independence and the parts of the end of the 19th century and into the 20th was the cooperative movement. Monaghan has a particular connection with the cooperative movement historically. And I think entering Tidy Towns, preparing for it, and actually going on year after year is an action of cooperation and of positive citizenship. But I think what's interesting, looking at, in fact, the preparations that you made, not only for the year you won, but for the years that followed it, is the way that you have gone on to the new themes. It's important not only if, in fact, Tidy Towns was established in 1958. We have lost a lot. We have lost so much in biodiversity. I noticed that you have a pollinator scheme for bees and so forth. So therefore, every living aspect of the environment is important, and in heritage, every built aspect is important, and everything has its story and its place. And I think that is very interesting, that it is through actions like yours that we're all able to work together across different schemes. And I do want to say that cooperation means cooperation between local authorities and all the voluntary groups, but also between the local state and the central state. And all of this is what builds up to what I hope will be the sustaining principle in the achievement of our sustainable development goals and in responding to climate change. I was fascinated to hear about the project, about the Greener Glaslough campaign, the cube at the Oakland Centre. The idea of constructing end-of-life items and from unwanted materials, a can mill from 15,000 aluminium cans collected by the junior tidy towns and school children. I think that was wonderful, and I have paid tribute already to the pollinator plan. But it's a wonderful thing to think, as I said, the intergenerational, put into what is happening intergenerationally. It is one of the things, I think, that we have to be just be careful about too. And that is that as science and technology make more and more important, occupy more and more important spaces in our lives, that we don't leave anybody out. And therefore, the more communication there is between the generations, the better it is. I have paid tribute to you already for your previous wins. I think that the gold medal awarded in the Entente Floreal European competition in Slovenia in 2017, and again, belatedly congratulations on that. And also the International Communities Bloom Award that you in Canada in 2022. I do want to say that as well, that I will shortly, I understand, looking at the plaque that my distinguished predecessor, Pádraig Hílere, unveiled in 1978, and that there's some members of the committee still alive, thanks be to God. And I think that is very, very much, but it's good to know that there was a spirit that was there in 1978, is alive and well and so strong now. So, a rich tris liamle, vis gwyn gach banach, neireach tí don tácaí. Agus ní léon efras arm ach a léana sé, ach ní léon efras ach go méid na torthaí é buint leis. I do want to say that, continuing on, may you have all of the successes that you deserve and that are so richly deserved and that are being passed on in these significant community achievements between the generations. Arish, many, again, Movuikas Levasat na Firkin Focha Darish Romhanis, Rema Vankelis Editash the Lam. It's Malia mit Kunsha Ohis and Vesha, Elor Monaghan Akahora, Glaslough. Agus mar gut me trí slímlih, agus na léon ahrasar mac a léana sibhle urníirte. What a great pleasure it is to be able to, on behalf of Sabine and myself and all those travelling with me, to thank you for that warm Monaghan welcome and to be able to congratulate you, to recall the previous achievements of 78. And also let us say this as well. Isn't it a great thing to say? It's a goodbye, I hope, to COVID. And in doing so, I want to offer my sympathy for all those who were lost and all those who suffered serious disadvantage during COVID. But it's good that we didn't let it stop us celebrating what is a great community achievement. And it will be a great pleasure to unveil the plaque and also to visit the earlier plaque and to pay tribute to those who were in the committee of that time. I wish you every blessing and good success for the future. Bergop Banner, Movikas live. Thank you.